Hey everybody, good morning. Or afternoon. Maybe they're in the afternoon. We don't know. Well, my name is Manny Lopez. This is Nancy, Fancy Nancy. And this is She Overcomes, a very unique experience. This is not on the typical networking platform. This is strictly for an interview, and we're still waiting for our interviewee to come in. But hey, how you guys doing? So comment below if where you guys are coming in from, where you guys are tuning in from. I'm excited to hear this from Lori, says Amani King. Welcome to the show. Look, we could even give you guys little shout outs here. And Dunham Business Radio, hello, welcome to the party. Hey, look, it's me. Hello, there I am. So Nancy, tell them a little bit about She Overcomes. What is this all about for those that are coming in for the very first time?
So this is a platform I made for women to share the stories of anything between depression, suicidal thoughts, or anything bad that's gone through their lives and how they overcame, and now they're doing something from that.
I love it, love it. And that's really, the focus of it really being about women empowerment, sharing their stories, getting women to finally share the message of what they've been through, what they've had to overcome to what they're doing today. So we've got an amazing guest today. Her name is Lori.
And it's her birthday.
And it's her birthday. So let's go ahead and give a big happy birthday to Lori. And we're going to bring her in shortly. She's in right now. Let me give you guys a quick preview of who we got in the house. Lori, well, we got Nancy cut off over here. We got to bring her in. Hey, Lori, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
All right. So we are going to bring you in for an awesome interview shortly after this quick message. There it is.
You caught me drinking.
Nice. Gotcha.
You got my energy drink in the shot.
Right. Awesome. It's a product placement, right?
Yeah.
So, Lori, tell us a little bit about who you are for our first-time viewers that are just tuning in. Give us a little background before we get deep into the story.
Yeah. So, Lori Dunham. I'm CEO of Dunham Global Ventures Incorporated and host of the Dunham Business Radio Show. I'm originally from upstate New York and bounced around a little bit and ended up in Texas. Consider Texas my home. Been here over 20 years now. And I'm a mentor to small business owners, various other enterprises, and just trying to make my way in the world by sharing my story.
Awesome. And we've got people from all across the U.S. and maybe some international tuning in, excited to hear what you have to share. And with She Overcomes, the focus of this mission is to get women to share their stories so we can find other stories to relate to. In my entrepreneur journey, it really took an example of somebody having a similar story to me before I finally saw that it was possible. Fear was just thrown out the window. So you have some questions for Lori. What would you like to know first?
Like her darkest place you were, and like how did you got out of there?
Yeah, so share with us a time that things were really dark, and how did you overcome that chaos?
What helped you?
Yeah, wow. Let's dive right into the deep end right now. There's no treading water here. So I'll give you the more recent because, growing up in my childhood, it was always chaotic and there was always a lot of turbulence. But my adult life, I'll just give you the more recent one. In 2016, I was heartbroken. I was devastated. Something happened in my life that just put me in a tailspin. And for months and months and months, I had so much depression and sadness. I didn't think I was ever going to get myself out of it. And I couldn't see a light. I couldn't see forward. Nothing mattered to me. And I was like a zombie and I had no life in me. I had just given up. And I'd never had suicidal thoughts in my entire life, but this was the first time. And I said, that's it. I'm getting in my car. I'm not taking any luggage, and I'm driving from Dallas to Galveston. And I had a plan. I was going to go over the barge. You know, there's a barge that goes over the water to the other island. And I was just going to drive as fast as I could and drive right into the ocean and call it done. I was sick. I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. Didn't want to be sad anymore. And didn't want to be heartbroken anymore. And so I did. I got in the car, drove all the way. It was 5 hours. No luggage, just drove all the way to Galveston, got on the barge. It's a 24-hour barge, so it didn't matter when I got there. And it turned out to be just after midnight on Easter morning.
Oh, wow.
And so I drove, and as I approached the beach, God stopped me. And he literally stopped my car. And I got out, and I got on my knees. And I had an encounter. And it changed my life. Very much like the conversation that he had with Abraham in Genesis, where he said, look up to the sky and count the stars. Those are the people you're going to touch if you share your story. Reach down into the sand in that beach and look at every kernel. Those are the lives you're going to touch if you just trust me. And he said, your whole life, you've asked me to not give up on you. And I've been here right beside you through all your life. And now I'm asking you, Lori, don't give up on me. God was asking me not to give up. And I said, okay. And it took about 4 hours right there on the beach in the sand, my face in the sand. And God said, get up. It's Easter morning. It's new resurrection. It's a new life for you. I want you to go to the church in Houston. And I want you to go to the service. And I'm like, God, I'm in my shorts and t-shirt and flip-flops. I wasn't planning to go to church. I wasn't planning to even live the rest of my life, you know. He said, I don't care. I want you to go. And I went to Lakewood Church in Houston, and I went up to the very high top of the atrium. I wasn't going to talk to anybody. And I was all alone way up there in the nosebleed section. You know, the pastor was like this tall. And I sat through the service, and everything he was saying was resonating with me. And I'd been a Christian since I was 8 years old, so I'm not foreign to what God's move feels like. And at the end, the pastor says, you know, if you're a Christian and you've grown cold toward God and you want to come back, I just encourage you to give us 1 year of your life and see what God will do. He'll take you places you never imagined. And I couldn't imagine a life, you know, where it was going to go. I had no plans, no dream, no vision. And I stood up and I said, okay, I'm going to rededicate. Now I'm standing all by myself in the nosebleed section. And it was a commitment between me and God. And I said, okay, I'm going to give you one year, God. If this doesn't work, that's it. I'm going back to the beach, and I don't care what you say. I'm going to come home and we're going to talk about it. And from out of nowhere, this usher showed up. I mean, one guy, I'm sure he was watching the whole time, but he finally came around the corner and he prayed with me, and I rededicated, and I gave God 1 year of my life. And in that year, amazing, miraculous things happened to me. And exactly 1 year to the day, I had a book launch party. I was a published author. I had a book launch party. I had 300 people show up at a book launch event in a beautiful art gallery in downtown Dallas. I had made connections, and my friends had all showed up, and I just felt on top of the world. And I went right back down to Galveston, and instead of driving to the ocean, I sat on the beach in such gratitude and just thanked God for saving my life. And I said, what's next, God? You know, what else do we have? And from that moment on, he allowed radio interviews to come, and I ended up being on a radio spot once a month. And that led to a radio show of my own where I interviewed other people and their entrepreneurial journeys. And then that led to us getting the award last year for Show of the Year in our studio. And now it's just going, like, it's just going. And it's amazing that I never, ever thought I would ever be anywhere where I am now. And God's got big dreams, and he's put them in my heart. And I just want to connect with so many people and let them know that if you just let him, he will let you. So
amazing.
I mean, we're all here crying, man. Jeez. You're crying this early in the morning. What were we going to do? I mean, your story is a perfect example of listening and having faith, right? Having faith that, give in, let him show you what's possible, right? We keep trying to create what's possible. We keep thinking it's all on us. We have to do it ourselves. And we end up falling flat all the time. And, that is a prime example of sticking to your faith and letting God in to do his work. I mean, he will make magic where you didn't even think it was possible. I mean, think about it. Did you think sitting in that beach a year later, you would be signing books in front of 300 people?
No,
I mean,
had no vision.
That was in the cards, right? Just imagine, people think, oh, I have this goal. I'm supposed to be here. I should be at this spot already. I should have already checked this off on my checklist. And yet when you give in to God's will, how quickly he can just change the story. He can just say, you know what? Yeah, it may be good of what you're thinking, but I got something better. Right? Remember that little picture we used to, little meme that would go around, and this little girl, she's holding on to her little teddy bear, right? And then it's got like Jesus right in front of her. And he's got this huge teddy bear right behind her, and right behind him, and he's holding it. She's like, I don't want to let it go. It's great,
mine.
right? And he's like, don't worry, I have something way better for you, right? Some people hold on to that little teddy bear thinking, oh, this is the only thing I will ever have. I don't have anything bigger. I don't have anything better. This is the only thing. I cannot let go of this. If you didn't let go, think of where you would be at today. Would you even be here today?
No. I wouldn't, and nobody would even know my name, And what's interesting is my whole life, I've wanted to leave a legacy I could be proud of. And the enemy wanted to steal that away from me. He wanted me to go into that ocean because he knows I have something powerful. I have a voice, I have a story, and I have a purpose to encourage other people to share their story. And he didn't want that to happen. And so God said, no, I got other plans, and I'm going to put you in the forefront. And what's interesting too is that I've always been a private person. I'm not one to be in the spotlight. I'm not the life of the party, or at least I wasn't. It's like the week before my birthday, I always get sappy, right? I start thinking about where I should go, where I should have been, the decisions I should have made. And God says, you know what? You have a wonderful purpose. And the past you can't change, but you can change the future by just making a correction in the now. And I'm like, okay, not looking back, not looking back.
You can change the future by making a what?
By making a change in the now.
Making a change in the now. I have to write that down, man. That's a good one right there.
Well, we have the tendency to look at our past and look at our experiences and say, this is what it was before, and now it must be that way going forward. There's a saying that's, the past actions are indicative of the future results or future actions. And I don't believe that. I believe if you want a future that's different, you have to change right now. Right now is what matters. You can learn from the past. You can look back at your lessons learned, but if you want a future, you have to envision what that future looks like and say, okay, if I want a certain amount of money in the bank, I have to reverse engineer this. And I have to say, okay, I'm going to start saving today. And then in the future, I, have what I always envisioned I would have. And there's practical ways, there's emotional ways, there's spiritual ways, and you just have to envision that future that you want, and just believe that God put that in your heart. Because if it wasn't meant for you, it wouldn't be in your heart. God wouldn't have given it to you.
Big time. Exactly. I love it. Give me some examples of some of the things that you deal with, because women watching right now, some of them don't recognize that the enemy is playing tricks on them. The enemy is deceiving them, right? You have to battle this war in a sense, right? I mean, yeah, the demons, the war.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it as there is a battle for your mind. There is a fight to control your happiness and your joy. And they use fear and they use chaos to try and do that. Give me some examples of some of the battles that you've had to go through in fighting this mental war to be able to get where you're at, because you didn't end up on the beach for nothing, going through nothing, right? Give me some insights into some of the things that you had to walk through.
Gosh, when I was younger, I was in foster care, by the way, for a short time. And that was a traumatic experience that put a lot of self-doubt, that would put a lot of abandonment issues and isolation and fighting within myself. And so I carried all of that through adolescence, and not being able to have a voice. I was bullied a lot by people that were supposed to care and love for me, love me, and they bullied me instead. And I was abused emotionally and physically and sexually, and that carried a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. And then in my early years, 20 plus years, I hid from society. I hid in a relationship that I thought was good and safe for me. And there was some good in it, but it wasn't really what God wanted for me. And so I finally found the courage to move out on my own and get into my own and find who I was. And it's a constant battle every day, even now, and, this morning, trying to figure out, what am I doing with my life? It's my birthday. So what's this next year supposed to look like, God, and, being single, there's that isolation, there's the depression, there's the loneliness, there's, putting down those temptations to just run out and go find anybody, to just settle for whatever, just because I've decided I'm worth the wait. I'm worth what I bring to a relationship. I'm worth the job, the business, that I'm worth it. And I have something to offer. And God's going to use every gift he's put in me to make a difference in someone else's life. And when I do that, that's where I find the joy. That's where I find the drive to keep going, and when I'm super sad or I'm lonely or I'm depressed, I've learned that, that's an everyday thing sometimes. And I've just found, put on my happy music, put on a comedy movie that just cracks me up. And what's so funny is the last week or two, I've kind of gone back and was watching the Donna Reed show from the 50s, it's just like a wholesome comedy. And I find myself just busting out laughing at the ridiculousness of some of these kids. And I'm just like, where did those kids go? Because they're not here, and it just lightens my heart, lightens my spirit. And it causes me to just be grateful for what I do have. And when you have a heart of gratitude, then the sadness goes away. The self-pity, I guess, the depression goes away. It doesn't mean that it's not real. It just removes it out of the way just for a little while so that you can find joy and really reconnect with God and his love and just say, it's going to be okay. And I've had to soothe myself. And just like David in the Bible, he had to encourage himself in the Lord. He had to find a way that said, I'm feeling this way. I want to feel that way. And so God's going to bridge the gap. And how am I going to do that? Through gratitude, through love, through joy, through appreciation. And sometimes the sadness, the loneliness, the depression is so strong that I just have to go to sleep and stop the momentum. Stop, just take a nap and wake up feeling okay. We're going to try again, But it is a constant thing. And I believe, God has a purpose for allowing that depression, allowing that loneliness, that isolation, because only by going through something, having the experience, can you really relate to someone else who's going through that. It doesn't matter what that experience is, like being a foster kid or being divorced or being a drug addict, or, and it doesn't have to be super negative, but hey, if you've been a millionaire, you know what it feels like to be poor. And so now you can help other people be a millionaire, right? Everything works for his good and for his glory if you trust him. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's just use everything in me, God, flow through me to inspire and to help and to mentor other people and make a difference in this world and leave a legacy I can be proud of.
Good stuff. I mean, it's kind of like that example, right? God gives his battles to his toughest soldiers, right? They have to be able to get through it so they can lead others through the chaos, because it's not like it's going away, right? It's not like all of a sudden wake up in this utopia land where everything is blissful, everything is joy, everyone's hugging in happiness, right? And of course, the 6 feet hugs, right? You know how we do it now, social distance, right? But at the end of the day, it's definitely something that looks at, the example you can provide to other people, right? We say it all the time with She Overcomes. You're going through this, your battle you're going through is going to become someone else's survival guide. Right? They can see you now as saying, look, Lori's done it. Lori's gotten through the chaos. She's been at that beach saying, I'm done. I'm giving up. I don't want any more of this life. And yet you're still standing here today. You've got a smile on your face. You go through chaos today still, I bet. But at the end of the day, you know how to get through it. You go to your happy place. You go to the fun things that can bring you joy, the things that make you smile, right? Like Fraka, she asked, do you go to your Bible when you go? For some people, flipping through that page and seeing that scripture that just gives them the answer of that day that says, well, you were obviously listening, right? How much does that give you confidence that someone's there for you, right? That you're not alone. You may be physically alone in your room, but you're not alone in your head, right? The enemy's there. He's always there. He doesn't leave you alone, right? When you're all by yourself, he's like, oh, looks like ready to come on in. It's my cue, right?
Right.
But we also got to have our shields, our armor, our faith, right? Our conviction that we know there are better things for us. We're going through this chaos to lead other people through it, not to break us down.
It's interesting. You bring up the scriptures, and this morning I was reading in 1 Kings. It's chapter 17, and it talks about the prophet Elijah. And for folks who need to know, he's a man who delivered inspired messages from God to the people. And he came across this widow who was out gathering sticks for her last fire. And she had no more food. She had a little bit of flour, a little bit of oil. And he said to her first, give me some water to drink. He's traveling a long way and he was thirsty. And so she went to get him water, and he goes, oh, by the way, while you're going to get the water, I want some bread too. And she said, I don't have even enough flour and oil to make a last loaf for me and my son. I'm making my last fire so that we can just eat this bread and then die. And he said, that's fine if you want to die, but do this first. Give me bread and water first. And God really spoke to me, and he said this widow was basically giving up on everything that she ever knew. Everywhere she looked around her, she perceived everything to be dead. Her husband was dead. The land was dead. There was no water, no rain for years in that land. So it was desolate. There was no flour, no oil, no bread, no food. She was looking everything around her. Her vision was depleted. And Elijah comes up and says, give me water, which represents encouragement, right? Give me life. Give me a word of hope. And she's like, what are you, crazy? I can't even find hope for myself, much less give it to you. And now you want me to give you bread, which is sustenance and strength. And you want me to give that to you. And yet I can't even find it for myself. And he said, if you want to go off and do your own thing, go ahead. But first, do this. And what was interesting is that she listened to him, and she did. And she did. She got the water. She got the bread. She made the bread, fed it to him before. And he said, because of your obedience, because you did this, the flour and the oil will never run dry. It'll never go away. And it says in the Bible that they ate for many days. And it's italicized, many, meaning a long, long time, because she took that action. She changed her perspective. She changed her viewpoint. She started to see life in what appeared to be dead. And she made a decision to go forward. She decided that she wanted more, and she obeyed. She did. And it's just so powerful to be able to look at a situation and say, this looks dead, but God said he's going to bring life into the barren land. He's going to bring a vision back where you no longer have a vision. He's going to bring people across your path that can make a difference in your life. And I'm evidence of that. You know, it's like that's in the Old Testament, but this was in 2016, and he's still active. He's still a real God. He's still acting and moving, and he's still making a difference. He turned my life, which appeared to be dead. It appeared to be over. And he said, no, new life is springing up. New life is coming up through you, and you can make a difference.
Lori, give me the address to the church you be preaching at, girl, because you just dropped it. Man. I'm telling you, if you ain't preaching at a church already, I know there's going to be some recruiters in here watching. This is drop the mic, girl. You just look at all these comments coming in. People like Fraka, I needed to hear this message this morning. I mean, this is why we do this event, is to have experiences just like this, where someone like Fraka could be down and out this morning, not feeling it, not having that mood. I mean, we've all been there, right? And so you get to that mode and you're like, oh, this sucks. Oh, I got a text message from Manny today. Oh, a video. Let's just tune in, and bam, change your life. That's the power of what a message can bring and how God can work through you. You just got to listen, and you got to be obedient. You got to have that faith. So many people, they get that message, they get that feeling, oh, I should go do that. Oh man, you know, someone's telling me to take action on that. And then they don't do nothing. And then they sit on it. And then they keep wondering. And they're sitting there even more depressed, even more negative, even more hopeless that things are going to go well for them, because they're not taking action towards what their gut and their heart and their mind is pulling them to. Sometimes you got to kind of listen to that mind. You got to tell that mind, hey, shut up. I'm too blessed to be stressed. You ain't going to tell me today. If that mind's telling you to stay mad at yourself, to go think bad about something, to go look at the negative in that situation, trust me, that ain't the Holy Spirit, my friend. The Holy Spirit don't want no negativity. The Holy Spirit just wants you to feel great, wants you to have joy, wants you to bring love. I mean, take the entire Bible, condense it all into one word. It's love. Love yourself. Love others. Love your friends. Love your enemies. Love the chaos. Love the blessings. Love everything that you have given. I mean, you have a 400 trillion chance to 1 that you became a human on this planet, and not some dung beetle rolling around a piece of poop all day, right? That could have been your life, people, but no, you're sitting here on YouTube listening to a live stream of Lori Dunham just dropping the mic on people. That's the power of what we have, the blessing that we got today. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. All right, baby.
I gotta tell you,
I'm just see here.
There's scientific proof that we are all winners. Right. Every single one of us is a winner, because we were the first to get to the egg.
Right? We already won, man. We're the
we
fastest.
Already won. We already won the race.
We had elbows. We elbowed everyone out the way.
I was like, the egg. What egg? I know.
She's like, wait, the sport didn't drop me off?
Listen, I want to say something that I think is really inspiring. And during my lesson this morning, God gave me a message, and I would like to share it with everyone who's listening. I had to write it down because it's just so profound. God wants you to know that You are not finished. You have a voice. You can overcome the fear. You can overcome the doubt. You can overcome what others say. You can overcome what others do. You can overcome your negative thinking and your limiting beliefs. You can find your divinely inspired story. You have a voice. You have a story all your own. You need to let others hear it. Open your mouth. Open your heart. Others will look at you a year from now and say, she did it.
Yeah. I love that.
That was really good. That was really good. Now, Lori, where do you see your story going? I mean, what's the purpose for you not only sharing this, of course, I mean, getting this message out. I mean, by all means, everyone can see exactly the purpose behind that. But what is your motivation in the next coming years? I mean, a year before this whole experience, you definitely didn't see yourself where you were going then. But do you have vision now to where you're going? Or you're just like, God, take me where I'm going. I don't know. And or do you know, you're like, hey, God's given me this mission. I need to go there because I know my mission, right? 2017, I had a conversation with God. I was sitting there at a fork in the road, not knowing where I was supposed to go. And I wasn't suicidal in a sense, but my thinking of where I was going was bringing a lot of fear. Because if I didn't have results in this path, me and my family would be homeless. And we had already been homeless twice by that point. I'm like, not happening again. There's no third time's a charm in Manny Lopez's house. Nuh-uh. I already had a whole family, man. I am not putting these kids on the street. And I had this conversation with God where he said, help the orphans. You have no fear. And it turned into me creating this whole virtual learning platform that I've given away to the world for free that helps kids learn how to start their own business. And, now the wife is creating She Overcomes. She wants to help women share their story because for decades, she has not shared her story. And now it's time for her to do that. And she wants to create this platform and help women like yourself be able to share their story and give them a voice to do it and, give them a way to help more people. What does the next 5 years look like for you?
Wow. My heart is business. And every time I try to fight it, it always comes back around. My first business transaction when I was 5 years old. And if you listen to my radio show, I say it often that I was 5 years old. I attempted to sell my mother's coffee table legs to our neighbor for $1.
I don't need these legs.
And the funny thing is the neighbor bought them and she gave me the $1 and she also gave me the legs back and said, go bring those back to your mother before she has a heart attack. So I knew right then I was meant to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know what it was called. I was 5 years old, right? But I knew I was meant to be in business. And for years and years, I've been on this earth about 100 years now, and I've had a roller coaster ride of careers and jobs and always trying to find my footing. And finally, I have stepped into the acceptance of what God has planned for me. And I have a mentorship program, and I mentor entrepreneurs, those that are 1 to 5 years in business and they're struggling to get to the next level. They're not sure where to turn. And there's a lot of sharks in the water, and they will devour you if you're not careful. And I like to be that life raft, that lighthouse that says, come here, I'm a safe place. Let me help you. Let me help you get to the next level, regardless of what that is. If you're just starting out or you need a strategy, that's what I do. And through my radio show, I'm able to offer a platform to businesses, nonprofits, even biz kids. I need 8 biz kids, by the way, if you know of them. But I offer this platform as my way of giving back, of being a gift, to allow them to get their message to the masses. And through that relationship, through that building value in that relationship, I'm able then to connect them and promote them and solve business problems across multiple platforms. And my dream for next summer, I'm going to reveal it right here.
Oh, we got breaking news.
Yep. Breaking
Oh,
news. Only people in my close circle know this because you have to be careful who you share your vision with. But right now, I feel like it's okay for me to say this. My radio show is heard right now. It's in 11 different countries. 20,000 plus people listen every month on Facebook, on our Facebook page. We're about to launch the YouTube channel this month for my birthday. It's a gift to get that up and running. We've done over 150 interviews with different entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, and various people to be on the platform. And so next summer, my dream from May 15th to August 15th is to travel to each of those 11 locations and have live listener parties with those people and give them an opportunity to meet some of the people on the show, myself, some co-hosts, international co-hosts that I have. Invite a speaker, motivational speaker. Somebody can come and give inspiration and hope back to the audience. And then also give them an opportunity to come to know the Lord, come to know Christ the way that he revealed himself to me, and give them an opportunity to have this life of abundance and free thinking and clarity that I've never experienced before. And I want to give that to the world. And some of these places, what?
I said, you're starting your own church. There you go. You're taking people to church.
Some of these places that we plan to go is they're not in Christian nations, where they're not Christian nations. And so I need prayer covering, prayer warriors. My heart is pure in bringing this message and bringing this hope to people. And I want them to see the God in me that loves them. That's really the message. That's it.
Now, we have people that are tuning in right now that are like, sign me up. I want to get part of this. So we're going to just make it very simple. Most of you that are watching got personally invited by me. It's really how you got the thing, unless you got it from Lori. And then you already know Lori. You already know how to talk to her, right? So what I want you guys to do, if you are watching right now, and you want to maybe provide some resources. Maybe you know a good security team that can go out there, right? And maybe you just want to partake in something like this to be able to bring, this message and this hope to more people. So just go ahead and text Lori, Lori, and I will personally make sure that you get connected to Lori directly. So there's the little cell phone number right there, 714-369-8528. And the cool thing is we're doing most of this on YouTube. So you guys could literally be watching YouTube and then open up your little text messages and send this in while still listening. You don't have to jump off the event. So that's pretty cool. I really like that. So if you guys want to stay connected with her, text in the word Lori, Lori. I will know that's who you're looking for. Just text in that one word and I will personally get you two connected. Do you have a message for Lori?
Good question. What would you say to someone going through something that you like, what you went through? What would be your advice to them?
I'm sorry, you broke up. I didn't hear you.
What would be your advice for someone going through what you were going through to them? Like, what would you say to them?
First off, I would say forgive yourself. That your past is your past. And move forward. Love yourself. Know that there is something out there. It's bigger than you could ever imagine. And you just have to love yourself and know that where you are was never going to be perfect, because you're not perfect until you go home, and when you get to heaven, then you'll be perfect. But here on earth, you'll never be perfect. And I'm really happy to report on a regular basis that I am a recovering control freak. And if I can do it, if I can let go of the outcomes that I used to manipulate, I used to manipulate the outcomes. I used to manipulate people and circumstances. And man, when you can let go of the control, when you can love yourself, forgive where you were and embrace where you are and see where you're going, your life will change. Your life changes.
I love it. I love how it's forgive yourself start. I mean, so many people, every day, they're just, I'm a bad mom, I'm a bad sister, I'm a bad brother, I'm a bad person. and realizing like nobody is perfect. We all watch Instagram and Facebook and we see the perfect lives of all of our friends, right? And at the end of the day, they're turning off that phone and going in chaos just as much as we are. So, realizing that, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and realize I am not meant to be perfect. I am meant to mess up and learn from these experiences so I can teach others and learn from that and become a better person. I mean, I look at the way my wife's kind of changed me, right? Where I looked at all the stuff that I would be doing to her and how that affects her, right? And I'm like, damn, I'm an asshole. Damn, that was pretty mean. Jeez, I didn't know. So it's like, wow, you have to kind of look at that and like you had to experience it. Like I would just go on about with my life and not affect it because I wasn't seeing the result of what would happen, but living in it and then seeing like, oh man, that's not cool. I shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, that's not cool. Let's not do that no more. And it changes you, right? And so that same thing with God is that he's got to expose you to what chaos you are doing to yourself, the chaos you're doing to others. Yeah. And before you can experience that, you're not going to see the value of changing to the other side.
Right. I absolutely agree. And, 10 years, 12 years ago, I guess, I was a mean person. I know you'd probably look at me and go, no way, but I was. And it's because I hated myself. I hated the body I was in. I was nearly 400 pounds. I was unhealthy. I was depressed and sad. And I demanded high expectations of myself. And every time I failed at that, I also expected high expectations of my friends, of my family, of the people around me. And I was, to say the least, I was a monster. I just don't know how anybody could even be around me. And I know some people are like, Lori, don't be so hard on yourself. But, I look back and I'm like, the people that were around me, they had to be placed there by God because they had so much grace to give me grace to be around them. And if they're listening, I mean, I haven't talked to them in 12 years or less, in that time frame. But you know what? If you're listening, I'm sorry I was a pain. I'm sorry I was a monster. God has changed me. I have more grace now to give out because of the grace you gave me and the strength that you gave me. And so thank you. And I'm sorry. But, you have to just accept where you are, know that you've got more, and keep pushing forward. Go forward. Don't look back, but keep going forward.
Yeah, incredible message. I wish we'd just be here all day. Let's just hang out with you all day, Lori. Just keep dropping them bombs, man. And people keep tuning in. They're like, man, this is getting good. This is getting I love it, man.
I'm honored to be here. I mean, I've listened to several of your events in the past. You guys are just such an inspiration. And I'm just so honored that you asked me to come. I'm beyond words. And if there's anything I can do, if you want to come on the show and talk about what you guys do, I would love to have you on. It would be great.
That's what we're here for. We want to help spread this message out. We want to find people like Lori, right, that have amazing stories. I mean, you took action and you applied and you shared your original story with us. And this is what got her attention, right? She looked at it, she's like, we need to have her in this group. We need to get her story in our community. And this is why you're here today. So it's giving us the ability to share your story, which is serving enough, right? If you want to spread it out even more, better than that. But at the same time, you being here today is how you're serving us, right? You're giving us another example that we can bring to the women of She Overcomes. When they tell us, oh, I'm suicidal, nothing's going to work for me. God doesn't pay attention to me, all of these examples. And now we can say, oh yeah, go watch Lori. Go tell me it's not possible after you watch that, right? Yeah. That's what we're building, and you're creating that for us right now live, that's the biggest thank you that we can give you. So, with the power that you have now in your message, where do you see your biggest impact? Like, who do you want to reach the most?
I really want to reach the younger generation, the college kids that have come through their life and now they're in college and they're not sure where they're going, what their vision is, what their dream is. The youngers that have been particularly the foster kids that have been thrown out at 18 years old and they have no idea where they're going. They have no idea what they're doing. My heart breaks for them, and I long to be a mentor to them, to get involved with an organization that could help them. That would bring me so much joy. And I would say to somebody right now, if you're dealing with suicide or depression, I just want to encourage you. There's a gentleman that I listen to on YouTube every now and then, and he says something once in a while, and he says, never make a permanent decision for a temporary situation.
That's true.
And so if you're struggling with suicide, reach out, find somebody that you can talk to, call the hotline, do whatever you have to do, because once it's permanent, it's permanent. And we need you. We need to hear your story. We need you to be here to make a difference, to inspire other people.
I love it. Thank you for this message today, Lori. I mean, this is going to impact so many people, not only the people watching right now, but this interview goes on demand in the platform. So now all of the women of She Overcomes will be able to access this forever on demand. So thank you for this, Lori. Is there one message that you want to leave our audience with, now knowing that this is going to be here forever?
Wow. I'm overwhelmed with such gratitude for being here. Thank you, first off, for allowing me the opportunity to share my voice, share my story. I would just say that your vision always changes. So stay in tune with God. Stay in tune with your alignment, who you are. Know who you are. And when you know who you are, you can chase your vision as it unfolds before you. God uses everything good that seems good, everything that seems bad. He uses it all for his good, for his glory, for your purpose, for your destiny. Just stay in alignment, use that, and go forward. And never give up. Never give up. It's worth it.
Yes, 100% worth it. I love it. So thank you, Lori. I really appreciate you coming in. It's been such a blessing. It's been one of my favorite interviews.
Yeah,
it's been really fun. I love it.
So
Not to hate on all the other She Overcomes ladies, but this has been really awesome. I love it. So thank you for
so
coming
much.
in. And remember, if you guys want to stay connected with Lori, just text in her first name, Lori, Lori, to that cell phone number right there, 714-369-8528, and we will personally make sure you two get connected. So thank you for that, Lori, and we will see you on another She Overcomes coming soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye. All right. Wow, that was a really fun interview. And this is going to be on demand in the She Overcomes platform. Just go to sheovercomesmovement.com. You can actually just text in She Overcomes. Most of you have already done that. So She Overcomes. Wait, I'm putting it in the comments, not the banners. So while I'm doing that, honey, go ahead and tell them about something else.
So our next event is going to be the 22nd of October. You guys want to next week.
Yes. Yeah. When is that? That is going to be literally 1 week from today. And that will be in a Remo and YouTube. So we're going to be doing this while we're doing virtual speed networking as well. So if you want to get on that guest list, just text in She Overcomes, right? She Overcomes to 714-369. Oh, yay, that was fun. All right, so yeah, just text in the She Overcomes. That way you guys can stay on our updates. So whenever we have these, impromptu lives that we do, you'll get a text message. You'll get notified with the link to jump in for free, right? So all of these events are free to join. Our platform's free to access. These interviews are all free. There's no subscription, nothing that you guys have to worry about to access all of our stuff on demand. And we're going to keep it free forever. So just like the Manifestation School of Business on my side that I built for me, that is all free. And so we're doing the same exact thing for the ladies. All right. So anything that we wanted to mention before we head on out? I think there was something. Something. What was it? The next event.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it, I guess, for now. Yeah, we've got something. Oh yeah, Laura's house. We've got that confirmed. That's what it was. I was like, there was one thing I wanted to mention. I didn't write it down. Yes. So, go ahead. No, this is your thing. This is not me. This is not me. I'm just the MC, okay? Just keep me in the background.
So we got in contact with Laura's House, which is a domestic violence rescue and nonprofit. So now some of our funds it's gonna go directly to them.
Yes. So we do have a funding arm of She Overcomes, which is all done behind the scenes. But what we do with that is that we now have partnered with Laura's House. Check them out. They're a nonprofit based in Orange County, California, and they rescue domestic violence victims. I mean, they literally will go pick up the woman and the kids and put them into a hotel and put them into, education and resources and housing, and really just helps them get out of the situation. There's a lot of women, right? And our own circles, we've had to deal with this type of situation where mom doesn't have anywhere to go. Mom has a lot of kids. She's getting abused. She's having to deal with domestic violence constantly and has no call. I didn't want to say that.
Okay. I know. Yeah, my mom went through that, so that's hits home. So that's something that I really wanted to bring to the table when I was doing this. I was like, I wish I could help women going through domestic violence. So that's what my heart's going to.
Yes, and it's something where she's, had to be in that situation constantly, and there was nobody to call. There's no 911 to call, because it's not like you just call, police on your own family in a sense a lot of times. So
6 children.
Yeah, with 6 children. So where do they go? Foster care? Yeah, that's not what we need. So at the end of the day, it's a battle that we can all win if we all can come together with our resources, with our education, with our wisdom, with our platform, with our community. We got to get the message out that there is hope. There are solutions. There are results that we can bring to other people if we can just show the example. So thank you for joining us today on this very special edition of She Overcomes, and text in to She Overcomes. So this way we can keep you guys informed on all the fun goodies that we've got coming down the pipe. There we go. There was like coming down the what? Something. All right, superstars. We'll see you guys on the next episode, the 22nd. We'll see you guys on the 22nd, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Deuces, juices. All right, let's do that little outro again. That was pretty cool.